story from the sport of boxing, where a decorated referee has made an explosive claim that a fighter was allowed to get in the ring even though he may have had documented brain damage. Now, if what the ref is claiming is true, it would mean the state regulatory body responsible for protecting boxers put a fighter in a very serious and dangerous situation. It happened Saturday night in Vegas, where an undefeated 25-year-old welterweight named Virgil Ortiz took on a 34-year-old vet named Frederick Lawson. The bout was widely thought to be a mismatch, with the younger Ortiz the heavy favorite, sort of using the match as a tune-up for bigger fights down the road. And that's how it played out early on, as Ortiz got off to a strong start and landed several clean punches to the head and body of the seemingly overmatched Lawson. But literally 2.5 minutes in, the ref, Tony Weeks, stopped the fight, making Ortiz the winner by a technical knockout, TKO, despite the fact that Frederick Lawson hadn't really absorbed that many tough punches. It was a decision that was booed by the crowd, condemned by boxing fans on social media. They blasted the ref for what was widely believed to be a premature stopping of the fight. But it's what the ref, Weeks, said after the fight that created the real controversy. He told the broadcast crew after the fight that he saw Lawson's eyes roll to the back of his head after one of Ortiz's punches. And later on Facebook, he said this: "What the public didn't know, that prior to the fight, they did a brain scan on him," meaning Lawson, "and it came up that he had an aneurysm. And they did a test again, and the same aneurysm came up. Another doctor was brought in and gave him the same examination, and he tested negative for the aneurysm, so they cleared him to fight." As the ref is claiming that Frederick Lawson had 2 brain scans which showed he had an aneurysm, was allowed to fight anyway after a 3rd scan came back negative. It's a shocking charge, and it's coming from a ref who's officiated more than 800 bouts over the course of his 3-decade career, including scores of title matches involving Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, and many other famous champions. Now, Weeks eventually deleted the post, but not before his comments had fans and pundits wanting answers from the Nevada State Athletic Commission. It's the government body that's responsible for making sure fighters are in good physical condition before entering the ring. So far, the commission's only responded with a kind of wishy-washy statement that doesn't clarify a whole lot. Quote, "The health and safety of the unarmed combatants that compete in the state are paramount to the commission. All contestants in the event were subject to full medical examinations and were cleared by medical experts to compete without restrictions. The commission and its executive director will continue its ongoing practice of reviewing its official performance during and after an event." But that statement doesn't really contradict anything that the ref said. The ref noted that Frederick Lawson was cleared to fight. His claim was that the clearance came despite 2 brain scans which showed Lawson had an aneurysm. Look, we don't know the whole story here. What we do know is that the ref's charge demands answers. We've seen too many boxers get too seriously hurt in the ring over the years. Joining us now is Andreas Hale. He's a senior writer for the Sporting News, who covered Saturday night's fight ringside. Thanks so much for coming on the show. Appreciate it. What do you make of all this?
It's a lot. It's a lot. I've been covering the sport for well over a decade, and to hear a referee make these claims, it's highly questionable, and it's very controversial, and it brings into question the sport that I cover. Now, the issue is, obviously, Weeks making these claims is an immediate HIPAA violation, because how would a referee know from the Nevada State Athletic Commission that this individual was tested twice and had aneurysms? The referee's not supposed to be privy to that knowledge. Now, as we know, boxing has a history of being accused of being a corrupt sport. And we've had, people from Don King to promoters to fighters taking dives. But this is a very heavy accusation for a fight that, for all things considered, it wasn't a blockbuster pay-per-view. There was about 4,000 people in the building, if that, at the Virgin Hotels here in Las Vegas. It wasn't a huge fight with a lot of attention on it. I'm not sure why Weeks is making these accusations. What I will say, however, is this is not the first time that Weeks has been under fire for an early stoppage. Just last year, Ismael Barroso and Rolly Romero had a fight that Barroso was clearly ahead on, and referee Tony Weeks stopped the fight almost inexplicably which drew boos and heavy criticism from the crowd. So this is the second time in less than 12 months he's been under fire, and it kind of feels like he's trying to cover himself up in this situation. But this kind of claim is very damning for a sport that, again, it's the hurt business, and you want to protect the fighters as much as you possibly can. To suggest that is a little crazy that they got an aneurysm heading into the fight.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.